Hello there, friends. My name is Maverick from Arizona Science Center, and today I'm going to be coming to you with a topic that's near and dear to my heart and hopefully should be to everybody because it's super duper important. And that topic is recycling. Now, in light of Sunday being International Recycling Day across the world, I want to come to you with a couple cool facts about recycling, as well as a cool little activity, and then a second cool activity that is, I feel like you guys are going to really enjoy it, so I'm going to leave you all in suspense. But I want to talk to you a little bit about recycling. Now, recycling is basically the process of taking things that have already been used and repurposing them, using them for a different purpose, using them again, whatever you really want to use them for, but not just throwing them out, not just wasting them. And that's super important because we go through a lot of materials. We throw out a lot of things. And it's really, really good to be able to use those things again so we don't have to create a bunch of waste and honestly damage the environment and everything by producing new things. And that kind of main process falls under the 3 R's. You've got reduce, reuse, and recycle. It's a whole little triangle here. Reduce is basically that first step. That's trying to reduce the actual usage of whatever you're using, right? Trying to cut down on the things that you actively use so you have less waste and have less things to recycle, have less things to throw out. But if you have to use the thing, then the next step is reuse, right? So once you've used that thing, whether it's a cardboard box from Amazon, whether it is, I don't know, some glass bottle that you use to have a soda or get milk or whatever the case may be, you don't have to throw that away. You can reuse it. You can either use it for the same thing, you can reuse it for something different. But if you can't reuse that thing, then the last step is going to be actually recycling it. And that is when you throw it out in the recycle bin compared to the regular trash bin. Or you basically break it down into its materials and then repurpose that to use either again in that same thing or something different. Now, the absolute basic step of this is to recycle things by throwing them into your recycle bin outside or in the trash can or not the trash can, the recycle can, sorry. And throwing those things out in the bin that they are supposed to be in. Not everything is recyclable, so it's really, really important to look at what is recyclable and what's not. But you can recycle things and repurpose things and reuse things right there in your own household. And one of my favorite things to do is, in this digital age right now, a lot of people are getting things delivered to them. A lot of people are ordering things and they're not going out to the stores as much, right? So I know that I personally have a large stockpile of boxes, deliveries of things that I've ordered. And I love using those for other purposes. One of my favorites is making birdhouses. I love being out in the environment. I love watching nature and animals, and a really, really easy way to take those cardboard boxes that you probably have laying around that you've probably just been throwing out, maybe even recycling, but a fun way to use them is to create birdhouses. So I'm just gonna take this as an example right here. You can make one however you want to, but I'm gonna use this as an example. So this is a little box I had from this little lantern that I ordered, right? A little lamp, not that big, but what I did was I cut holes out of the sides, right? So little flaps, little windows for the birds. And then I had the top open and I cut off the big flap so that nothing could get trapped in. So no birds could get trapped in here if they potentially jumped in on this part. But I cut off the big flap there, and I'm actually gonna use that big flap on the bottom, and I'm gonna glue it on there. I'm gonna super glue it on there to create a nice little base for the birds to stand on. But I've got a bunch of little windows, and I made sure that I left enough of a lip right here so that I can pour food in there, pour some seed in there that'll sit at the bottom without falling out, so that birds can fly up here and they can poke their head on inside, pick up some seed, have a nice little snack, and then I can go hang this up from a tree, from my balcony, which is where I'm actually gonna hang it. I can hang it in the balcony. I can hang it in my tree right here. I don't think we'll get many birds in here. Hopefully I don't get many birds flying around in here. But if I did, they'd have a nice little spot to come and get a little snack. So that's one use that you can get out of some of your old cardboard boxes and things that you probably have laying around. You can also do that with hummingbirds and create a hummingbird nectar and use a plastic soda bottle or something like that and poke little holes in there for their little beaks to be able to get through so they can sip the nectar. But make sure that you don't go buy nectar. You can actually make the nectar. It's basically just sugar water, but some of the nectars for hummingbirds with the red dyes in them can actually damage their shells and make the shells for their eggs kind of damage and not really be super useful. But the next thing we're going to get into is probably my favorite thing that I do with my cardboard boxes, one of the main reasons I keep my cardboard boxes, and that is to create behavioral enrichment for the multitude of animals that I have in my home, but more specifically, my hedgehog, Bernie. Now, I like to take the cardboard boxes and create little obstacle courses and hide his treats, which today is super worms, little mealworms. I like to hide his treats through the obstacle course and see if he can track them down. So we're gonna transition on over and I'm gonna show you my little obstacle course and hopefully we'll show you Bernie running through there, picking up some worms. We'll see you in a second. So this right here, this is Bernie. This is my grumpy little hedgehog right now. But in a second, I'm about to take him out and I'm gonna put him in a little obstacle course so that you can see what I made with my cardboard boxes and we're gonna let him explore. Hi buddy, you wanna go out? So I'm gonna go ahead and let him run around in the obstacle course and we will show you. I have a bunch of extra boxes for things that I want, but I've got this little obstacle course right here and Bernie's running around looking, wondering where his worms are. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hide some worms in different parts of this obstacle course. And he's a grumpy hedgehog and that's what they do. So we're gonna see if he can track these worms down as he uses his awesome smelling in his nose. Looks like he might be on the track of one. Then we'll see if he can sniff out some of these worms in this obstacle course. There we go, he found the first worm. Like I said, it's fun to be able to adjust these around, make my own little cave here, and different things like that, to see if he can track them down with his nose. But this is just one way to use recycled materials. That's probably my favorite way to use recycled materials. There is a worm in that box. We're gonna see if he can track that one down. There you go, use that nose. And this is a way to use your recycled materials to help more than just you, right? To be able to help your animals and do all kinds of stuff. Now, obviously, it doesn't have to be with a hedgehog. Whatever animals you got at home, you can come up with different ways to help them, you know, enrich them with different recycled materials. Let's see, he's sniffing. He knows that there's worms in there now. So now he's sniffing. I think he might have smelt one. There we go. And he found another one of his worms. And that is the process of recycling, or at least a couple of the cool things you can do with recycling, a couple of my favorite things to do with recycling. So I hope you had fun just getting to watch my hedgehog run around and eat worms, which is one of my favorite things to do. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Have a great holiday season here. Stay safe. Make sure you check us out at azscience.org to see all the other awesome things we're offering. Come check us out in person at Arizona Science Center to come hang out with us for the day. Come see some cool science right there in person. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.